so this lab is going to be pretty simple. What we're going to have is a calorimeter. Now our calorimeter is going to be a plastic cup or a styrofoam cup here. And we're going to put in there something called a stir bar. It's just a little plastic thing right here. It looks plastic. It has magnets inside. And when you put it on the stir station here, those magnets align with other magnets. You turn it on and it spins. So if we put it inside this cup, like so, and put it in the center of this stir station and turn it on, then it will stir up our solution for us. Now what we're going to have in here is water, and we're going to use water as our medium to either absorb or give away energy to the dissolving of a chemical, and each lab station will have a different chemical. So the first thing you need to do, or one of the first things you need to do, is to weigh the chemical. Make sure you tear the balance with the empty cup, then put your chemical in here, put it on there and weigh, and then record the weight of the chemical. And you also need to make sure you write down the name and or chemical formula for that chemical so you know which chemical your group is testing. Now, in addition to that, we're going to have water in our calorimeter. Now, you have to have the weight of that water as well. It doesn't matter how much you put in here so much, fill it not completely to the top, so you have a little room to work. But again, tear the balance with the cup. Let's show you that. Let me take that out of there. Put the cup on here. We'll zero out the balance here so it's teared. Now we can put the distilled water into our calorimeter. Okay. Weigh it and record the weight of the water. Now, these balances don't weigh out everything you put on it. You go over the amount that is weighed. So if it does say OL for overload, then you're going to pour out some, just a little bit at a time, until you reach the point where it's no longer an overload. Okay, now once you have a weight, then you're ready to put your chemicals together. One of the things you need to be aware of is don't put so much chemical with the water if you have an overload. So slightly less water than the overload point is probably a good idea. All right, so now that we have the amount of water in there that this balance can handle, and we put it on the stir station and start the stir bar stirring, so it's gently stirring the water, no splashing is what we want. We're ready to get started. Now, what you're going to have is a small styrofoam saucer here that you're going to push this temperature probe. This is the temperature probe through here. You can see I've got a hole in this one so that it'll slide in there. And this provides a kind of cover for the top where the temperature probe can go through and then measure the temperature of the water. What we want to do here is to set it up and be ready to start measuring the temperature. Let's do this. Let's get the temperature of the water to start with. And then what you want is a probe in the water without going so deep that it's actually either touching the bottom or touching the stir bar in there. You set up your computer so you've got logger probe set up. And if you set it up correctly, you'll probably recognize that temperature probe. You have to be patient sometimes and wait on it. But what you want to do is to set up your first column for time, and the second column will be temperature, and most likely it will automatically recognize your probe and set it up that way. So what you want to do then is start to, once you've got the temperature here, and you want to record this beginning temperature of your water in your lab logbook, and then you're ready to start collecting data. We're going to collect data, just let it run. Okay, what we want to do is to see where it goes to. So let's raise the temperature probe up here a minute. Okay, we're going to put our chemical in here slowly, just kind of like this, so it doesn't disrupt that stirring. Put our cover on it. Lower the temperature probe back down in here. And we're just going to watch what's happening with the temperature. Okay? So our beginning temperature we first measured will be right here at the very beginning on our graph. And in this particular case, the dissolving of this chemical is raising the temperature. What we want to do is to watch for that temperature to stabilize. When it sort of stabilizes, now your temperature may go down. If the dissolving of the chemical you're working with absorbs energy, the temperature is going to go down. If it gives off energy, it's going to go up. What you want to do is to see this curve start to level out. And when it's level, then you reach the end, you can stop collecting data. What you want to know is the beginning temperature, the very beginning of the graph we measured the temperature to start with, and where it ends. Okay, that's all we're interested in. I'm going to watch that in a minute. And if you can see that, you can see it beginning to level out here. Okay, and it's starting to flatten out. So that's pretty much a stable temperature now. We're pretty close to ready to stop collecting it. Press stop. Okay, and then you want to set up the graph the way I taught you before. Try to spread the graph out over the entire space you've got available. And make sure you write a correct title and you label your actions properly. We taught you that in a previous lab. And then spread it out vertically and that sort of thing. Make sure you save the raw graph in Vernier onto your flash drive. You've got a backup copy. You want to copy and paste the graph that you collected into your reporting document. And then you're going to do some calculations at the post lab. Pretty simple lab. Just got to get all the work done. Doesn't take very long.